Welcome on in, dudes. Tuesday night ranking show. We got the new college football rankings, and we're getting down obviously to the nitty gritty. I think it's interesting to start to look at the comments, and then it makes me cringe as well. Like to see the chair talk about things, and then it gets you upset, and then it gets you kind of get your blood pressure back down. But I think the big thoughts when it comes to the committee, when we did ours at Ole Miss and A&M. I had Ole Miss as the one-loss team at the very bottom because of the coaching switch, because I didn't think they were going to have Charlie Weiss or Lane Kiffin. Obviously, you lose your play caller and your offensive designer. That's not good. Charlie Weiss going back to Ole Miss to coach, I think that makes a difference in the committee, and that he actually talked about that as well. But I think the battle and everything to do with the playoff spots, man, like Bama and Notre Dame flipped is a big deal. Like, that's a really, really big deal, because I don't know if I want to be in the 10 spot. Like, the 10 spot is a tough spot. Notre Dame has no ability at 10 to really do much of anything. So let's do the rankings first. We'll give you them all ranking by ranking. So Ohio State was 1, Indiana was 2, Georgia was 3, Texas Tech at 4. So remember, those 4 teams get a bye, which obviously is pretty significant. He talked about, and I was curious too, about where does people sit when it comes to playing an extra game, because obviously all those teams that we're talking about right there are playing an extra game, and they said everything was taken into account. So that's good for other teams that are sitting there on the bubble. So the next data points will be taken. It'll be a new rankings. Those games will be viewed. So that's something that's important to note. So you got those 4, Oregon at 5, Ole Miss at 6, again ahead of A&M. A&M at 7. Oklahoma starts the 2-loss train. Oklahoma's at 8. Alabama at 9, which again, I think that's significant. They're ahead of Notre Dame. They were behind Notre Dame. Like, what did the committee talked about this? Brent, I thought this was interesting too, if you want to jump in on this too. But like, when you start thinking about like what they say and how they say it, obviously, but he said the debate between Alabama and Notre Dame over the past 3 weeks has been the strongest debate in the room. Got it. Good. Should be strong. Alabama's wins, not as quality of loss with FSU, obviously. That's a big one. Oklahoma, like, dude, that's a good loss. Like, Notre Dame's got 2 good losses. I get it. We're debating this. Then he said we locked in on these 2 teams the past 3 weeks. And then Notre Dame went on the road at Stanford this past week. Alabama went on the road in a rivalry game, looked really good, especially in the first half, getting up 17 points. And they ran the ball well. Disagree. I don't think they ran the ball that well. I think there was a stretch in the second quarter where they ran the ball pretty well. So the committee just felt strong enough. It was strong enough of a win for them to be above Notre Dame. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't feel one way or another that like it's a criminal, because I think if you look at it and what Alabama has done and who they have beaten, you have a very good case to have Alabama above Notre Dame. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we're going to dissect the losses, I think you could say Notre Dame obviously has 2 really, really good losses to 2 really, really good teams in the top 15. Their losses are better, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what the freak's more important?
Protecting Bama being in the playoff if they lose the SEC championship game.
That's the only reason.
That's what this is all about.
That's the only reason why.
And I thought this was going to be kind of a boring TV show, but this flip sets off all sides, all kinds of possibilities now to me.
Which is great TV. Which is awesome. Yes, that's great for us.
For all of us to talk about it, to tweet about it,
But why? But what's your question? But what you just said though. Here's what I wanted to get to, and I knew you'd get there. Hey, why do it this week? You're really gonna sit here and tell me that big Auburn win was the difference between moving Alabama above Notre Dame? If they were smart, they would have done it already. Like,
yes.
Nothing changed substantially enough. Like, there's nothing that the committee could look at and say, man, that Auburn win, they got up 17-0. but then they got him back in the game. Like, oh, that Stanford, like, I just don't understand how we had a change from last week to this week. Before that, if you made this case, I'm all good with it. But like that week and that argument to me is very weak, bro. Very weak.
Yeah, and it's one. I think there's also a lot of this would have been avoided. I think they had Notre Dame maybe a little too high initially.
Yeah,
like when the very first rankings came out, because they've kind of just sat there for the most part with the 2 losses. And if they would have gradually moved them up in a way, but then you get them and the closeness to Miami, all that sort of who knows what. But to me, if you're a Miami fan, you have hope now.
You do now.
You have 1,000,000% way more hope than you did an hour and a half ago. Like infinity. Because it was very little hope, and now it's way more. Because if you say that, now granted, can this game be completely different? Yes. But if Texas Tech handles BYU like they very similar fashion to the first game,
they beat them up. They slapped
BYU. I think BYU drops. Now Miami and Notre Dame are side by side,
and now you have the reason.
Flipperoo, and Miami is your 10 seed.
But
they know how to like that. That made it way more interesting to me.
Well,
I think a lot of this is set.
Well, and here's what I like about it too. BYU's a good team. There's not a lot of meat on the resume. There's a lot of wins, right? So like there's not a lot
of really solid wins in their conference.
Solid wins, nothing great, nothing spectacular. But here's the thing I love about this. BYU's at 11. If BYU beats Texas Tech, they're in. And guess what? So is Texas Tech. And that's where you start getting concerned, because now if I'm Notre Dame, if I'm Alabama, like those are things that I start to worry about. No, listen, Alabama at the 9, you go play a really bad game, you could drop as well because the rankings are going to count. But that, like, BYU is the ultimate, like, trump card, the ultimate that can screw everybody. Because when you look at it right now, I'm not saying this is going to hold true, but SEC grabs 5 spots. The Big Ten grabs 3. The ACC has 1. The Big 12 group of 5. Or you've got 1 independent and 1 group of 5. So BYU takes care of business. They win. Woo-wee. Now Texas Tech, you can't tell me Texas Tech's out this thing. Like,
well,
so that's the fun.
And what's amazing
fun
about
area.
When you think about the timing of the games, like you're going to know who 11. Well, you won't know who 11 is because ACC's at 8:00. But that BYU Texas Tech game is at noon. So that happens. Then you get the SEC championship game right after that. So, like, you're going to know right there if you're a Bama fan that I tweeted earlier. I think Bama being 9, the only way they're out is if they get blown out. Mm-hmm. Like if they get beat down pretty handily, then I think Bama could be in trouble. But outside of that, to me, they're in with this switch. That's the biggest story of the night.
That 100%, 100%. The biggest story of the night. And then I think another story too, which I think was an interesting debate at the end, is you got 2 group of 5 teams that are ranked. And
yes,
so having JMU in that mix, having Tulane in that mix. So Tulane's up to 20. North Texas is at 24. J&M at 25, right? Like you've got those people in the mix and Duke isn't. So remember how this works. It can happen. Like we're going to have the conversation. If Duke upsets Virginia, it's an opening. It's correct. It's an opening for 2 group of 5 champs, Tulane and JMU, to get in the field. Which
JMU's got to win.
JMU's got to win too. But here's the thing. If that happens, the good thing about if that happened was that means we could blow this whole freaking thing up, because everybody would be pissed and changes would have to come. And I think that might be the bye-bye of the group of 5. But it's just, again, it's something to talk about, because you also got North Texas in there. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's fun. Like, it's fun to have those guys as a part of it. But I think that also too, man, if you do the exercise of ranking the top 25, when you get to the bottom, man, it's like throwing darts. Like, it really is.
Yes.
Like it's hard
coin
to
flip.
Figure that out.
It's all a coin flip.
It's a coin flip, and nobody really knows. Like, it's honestly, that's where when people start talking about whoever was ranked earlier in the year, a lot of times gets the benefit of the doubt. Like that's just they do. They get the benefit of the doubt because they've kind of been there,
Well,
done
think about
that.
Tennessee. Like Tennessee's 8-4, and their 4 losses are to teams in the top 15, 14 actually.
Yeah, Missouri's in that mix. Vanderbilt's in that mix. Texas is in the mix with a bunch of good losses. But Texas, the key point is they talked about Texas, and he said it's not the loss to Ohio State, it's the loss to Florida that's holding them back. And I get it, but if the loss to Ohio State didn't exist, it'd be a different story. Like that's the point. Like, because you didn't talk about FSU and Alabama's loss, because that's a horrible loss, right? But detailing the Florida game too. How about he said Florida dominated the game, held Texas to 50 yards rushing. Rushing apparently is a big deal to the committee. Like apparently the run game is a big deal because that's every time you hear
physicality.
Every time you hear the committee talk. But so amongst those teams, if you look at it, the committee's top 15 teams, you know, there's 17 total losses for those teams. Like, and 16 of those losses are to ranked teams. So those are a lot of ranked teams. Like you're okay with that. If as long as it's a ranked team, I think it's okay with it. But the Florida loss was a clearly apparent, talked about, and Brent, I've talked about this for years. Like I talked about at the beginning of the season, like the anchors are losing to bad teams. Like losing to a bad team is killing Texas, right? It's killing Texas. It's not killing Alabama.
Well, and the only reason it's not is because of all the
it should be because all the wins
they have.
Yeah.
It's being trumped. If they didn't have, you know, if they had played, you know, 2 different teams, you know, and somebody instead of beating somebody lower in the SEC, Kentucky instead of Vanderbilt, like I think that, which think about what I just said.
If say that out loud again, hey, how pissed are you if you're Vanderbilt? Like
the greatest season in the history of your school.
Well, not only that, Britt, you just went on the road to a ranked, one of the hardest atmospheres, and you laid down the slap down. Like, you beat the piss out of them. And you're like, man, we might do some damage in the rankings. 3-loss Texas is ahead of you. Now, listen, Texas beat you. Texas beat you. But it ain't like Vanderbilt's got, you know, cheeks for losses. Technically, it's a 3-point loss to Alabama and a 3-point loss to Texas, right? Like, it ended up being a close game, you know, in the end. But Texas is right there on the edge, but it's not. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think there's
how the last couple of weeks have gone. And I'm curious, based upon how this kind of finishes up, I thought, you know, 3 weeks ago, we said I think we're in a spot where the 10 best teams are going to get into the playoff. And I don't know, like that's one where, based on how some of these teams have played lately and dialed themselves back in and up a level, like Vanderbilt, like Miami, that's where I don't know that we're going to get maybe the 10 best teams. But hey, it wasn't just a.
Why are you smart enough? Well, I mean, I know the answer to this, but like, you're smart enough to say that and understand that, like, it should matter too how you're playing now. Like, I think that's a fair thing to say. Like, this should all be incumbent upon, like, looking at the teams and being like, yeah. And listen, if he said that, if the committee chair would look at me and go, the loss to Florida was in the middle of the season. The loss to the flirting with Kentucky and Mississippi State was in the middle of the season. Like, middle towards the end of the season. Like, now you see Texas has gotten hot and they've got like that to me. I'm not saying they have. I'm saying if he would give me context like that, as opposed to like, oh, they lost to so-and-so, you know, I agreed. But when did they lose to them? Like, Notre Dame lost. That's why we give credit to Notre Dame, I think, a little bit more, is because it was game 1, it was game 2. And how finite did Notre Dame lose by? With an extra point. Like, with an extra point. Like a missed extra point. And a bad missed holding call, a horrible missed holding call, atrocious missed holding call. But like, all of it goes together, and I got rushing yards. That annoys me a little bit, but it's okay.
I do think it's clear in terms of where some of these teams are going to be. Like Georgia. Georgia wins Saturday in the SEC championship game. To me, they're the 2 seed. And then the winner of the Big Ten is 1. The loser of the Big Ten is 3.
Disagree.
You think 1 and 2 is going to stay the same?
No, but how's the game played? Like
Yeah.
I do, that's it. Yes, I agree with the premise. Like if you go one loss, like Georgia's resume is better than Indiana's if Indiana loses. It's better than Ohio State's if they lose. But if it's a close game and these teams are quote unquote 1-2, and you've had them there all year long, like you're really going to move them for a 3-point loss. Like Georgia's got one of those too. You know, like
Davey,
Georgia's got a close loss. So
Davey, don't forget that Georgia went from 1-6 in 2023 when it lost to Alabama.
So stupid.
It was his first loss.
So stupid. Here's the thing I'll say about that where you might be right. Here's the thing I'll say about that. If Georgia avenges its only loss, that might be the debate. If you're going, hey, I'm Georgia, I lost barely to Alabama, but I beat Alabama late in the season. So the only loss I had, I redeemed myself. I won. Will you please look at me? I should be the 2 seed. I think you can see that. We need to talk about, too, like where you want to be in these seedings, too. Because, again, last year, this is how many people won out of the byes. 0. Nobody won out of the bye weeks. So
different animal, obviously, with the teams.
Different animal,
and,
but five is a great place to be, bro. Home playoff game against a team that I probably can't lose to, and I'm so much more talented than. And if you look at the teams, like if you look at the rankings and look who gets the home teams, did you look at that? Like you're looking at a lot of right now. You're looking at a lot of home games,
a lot of SEC home games.
SEC home games. And here's the thing, to me, where these games are played matters. Like when you play in the South versus playing up north, broski. There's a big difference. I played the Cincinnati Bengals, man. Like that was miserable. It sucked. Like it is not fun. The game is different. So being in the South, obviously, home field advantage is big time, big stadiums, all that stuff. But
who'd you play for again?
The Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals. That still cracks me up. How you...
The Bengals, baby.
Who dey?
Them Bengals.
I Texas Tech in regardless, you think still?
They should be. I mean, again, if they're going to avenge, if they're going to lose to a team that beat them in the regular season, again, there's no world I don't think where BYU blows them out, so I'll take that off the table now. I think Texas Tech's still in for sure. Like I just again,
Miami.
I know there's so many people that are looking like for a reason not to put Texas Tech in, and guys, I'm just here to tell you, like we're nerds and we watch this stuff over and over again. Like that defense is going to be a problem for everybody. Like everybody's going to struggle with that defensive line. Blocking it, they're a freaking good unit. And now listen, here's how Texas Tech could be out. If Texas Tech's quarterback gets dinged up in the championship game, because that comes into account. And they're already – because
now you'd be on your third.
That you'd be on your third. You already lost with your backup as your one loss. So, like, that's another thing too. I just wonder about injuries with that, like Ty Simpson in Alabama. Like something happens to him, and now we're debating that and moving forward. Like – and I wrote this down actually when it came to the show notes. I actually put it at the very bottom of the stuff. Like, so here's the criteria again. These comments reflect the committee's emphasis on recent performance, head-to-head results, strength of schedule, available data points like player coach availability, while avoiding, speculation, blah, 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 all the other crap. But, like, that's why there's no data point playing without Lane, so with Ole Miss. And so, that doesn't matter. But, like, and Lexi, you're back in the chat again. I'm not complaining about injuries. I'm not wishing for injuries. I don't want injuries. It's the worst part of the game, but it's there. Thank you, though.
It happens.
But, so I think that's –
this time.
Yes, I did say ma'am. But that is a part of it. I think watching the championship weekend and seeing the teams and seeing who's playing well. But I to go back to it, I think Texas Tech's in regardless.
So one interesting piece would also be, let's say, assuming favorites win. So Georgia wins the SEC. Do they flip Alabama and Notre Dame again to avoid the rematches?
I'm about to say leave that up, Wes, because you got Alabama, Oklahoma. You got
at Oklahoma
Notre Dame,
this time.
A&M.
At A&M this time. That's
so,
all right.
Find out
different. Who's really the winner of these games.
Yeah, and then the cool thing about the bracket though is if you had it like Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon would avoid each other in the next round, which I think would be cool. Like, because I don't want to see them, You know, I wouldn't want to see Indiana, Oregon again if I can help it. Like, listen, those rematches, they're not supposed to take that into context. I think they're going to take that into context. Like, I mean, if you can avoid it, avoid it. Like, why not?
It was also not there. There was also way more interesting stuff in college football discussion tonight. Two things. One, a 5-star quarterback officially flipped his commit from Georgia to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Like, that world exists now. That is a reality of a world that
NIL.
Probably many didn't think would exist ever again.
That's the NIL world that we're living in right now. That is a perfect example. And why is that a bad thing? Like,
no, not at all. I don't think so.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think Vanderbilt can offer more money for one player, which if you want to do that, you should do it because Diego Pavia has single-handedly put you on the map. Now, if you talk about for the kid, this run for Vanderbilt's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again. Like, Pavia is – there's nobody that's going to be Pavia. Nobody's going to be 24, 25 years old. Nobody's going to be with the OC for several years before this. Like, it's a perfect storm. Stowers coming with your boy coming with you. Like, but that's big time for Vanderbilt. That's so big time, man. To have a guy that could play anywhere he wants in the country to choose your spot, that's freaking awesome.
So the other thing that was interesting is I've seen one, maybe two, at least two players who have quote tweeted Lane's Kiffin's leaving message or whatever he put on Twitter. Like Bryson Sanders said, despite the team not asking me to keep coaching. And he says, I think everyone that was in that room would disagree. Like, players think a little bit differently about maybe some of the words that he's used recently. I thought that was fascinating to me.
Well, I mean, Lane never said it. He was very cautious with his words. He never said LSU's a better job. He talked about how great the job is, but he did not Brian Kelly it. He did not want to go, hey, this is a better job.
I can't win here. I got to win there.
This is a chance to win a national championship. He was calculated with his words, but like, dude, did you see some of the did you see some of the details of his contract? Like, I took a screenshot of it earlier.
Oh, in terms of like the
listen to this. 7-year deal, $13 million annually. Yes, please. Buyout of 80% of the remaining salary if they fire him. Not bad. $1 million bonus for the SEC title game victory. $3 million national championship bonus and becomes the highest paid coach in college football immediately. $1 million bonus if Ole Miss wins the 2025 title. What? God. Anyways.
I was going to kind of be an Ole Miss fan, but
pays off the home in Oxford, Mississippi. Okay. And covers the difference up to $500K of the new home in Baton Rouge. So if you're wondering why Lane left,
that's CEO stuff.
it's Lane got a really, really good deal at a great job. And
if you think of these, they're Fortune 500 companies basically, and he's now the CEO. So
there's a lot of people out there that would jump ship in a heartbeat to go accomplish that. The same people that want to crap on him. I just saying like there's a lot of tough things to turn down. I feel pretty confidently that I might have handled it different than Lane. I would have handled it different, but he's free to do what he wants. But I know one thing: I'm getting a better house. I'm gonna go get me an little upgrade. I'll be like, nah, $3 million's not $4 million, $5 million. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do that.
Give me the nicest one on the lot. Give me my own area or zip code. I think independent of how this shakes out in the end, I still think this is going to be a fantastic playoff, like notches above what we had a season ago in terms of competitive games.
Well, we got the automatic buys last year really changed the format of the playoff and who got the automatic buys because, remember Clemson got a bye, Boise got a bye, right? Like those were teams that
Clemson did they?
Took buys. Yeah, Clemson won the ACC. No. SMU lost.
Right, but they were the high. Clemson was the last seed. Clemson played Texas.
That's right. Clemson
Buys were
that was a really good
Georgia,
game. Boise should
Penn
not have got a bye.
No, not Penn State. Why do we not know this?
Well, I mean, Arizona State.
Arizona
was the other one
State
that got a bye
because they played Texas in the next game.
Oh
well,
swanky, bro. Well, I mean, it's a good reaction show, though. We'll be back tomorrow talking about picks. If you missed it, we put the Hugh Freeze interview up earlier. So Hugh, his first person he sat down with. So that was very, very nice of him to sit down with us at C-Ball Get Ball. We appreciate that. And listen, these games this weekend, the championship weekend, my son has a basketball game, Brent, on Saturday, and they play it Saturday at 5 p.m. Not going.
First off,
yes,
knowing involved, that does not shock me in one bit.
I mean, what are we doing? But either way, I love you, Nicholas. You are my dude, bro. But I'll be watching the championship.
Well, he's just coming back
games.
from football, so maybe the PT might not be there just yet anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, that might not be there ever. But anywho, we appreciate you guys. It's been a good week. We'll continue to go. We had Caleb Downs, we had Hugh Freeze, and then we'll do some picks, baby. Get some good picks in there because these are the championship weekends. I think the picks will be really, really fun to do, and then we'll rank it back up again with rankings on Monday and Tuesday and keep it rocking and rolling. So
we'll be set. Playoff will be set.
What did Wes just say? David Pollack, are you upset UGA moved you to defensive end from fullback? Laugh out loud. No, I'm not. I'm not upset.
Worked out okay. I mean, I got to eat. I eat really well at both positions. But all right, dudes, we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow for the picks of the big games. Thanks, dudes.